Hey everybody. Um, I'm back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all of you who have. I really appreciate it. All right. So, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 20, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I was waiting for the stuff from the blogs to play out. I don't even know why this episode is called that. I actually hope my guide was wrong. Anyway, Martel, Chris Fletcher, and Fred. Okay, so they're back in the garden that they told us is a lot to build a house. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. Um, Martel was going off about Marsau disrespecting him and Melody and how hard they worked in business. Um, and basically what they had done for him and Tisha, right? So I can actually understand that. I don't think he's wrong for feeling that way. He has a right to feel that way. Because for Marsau to say that was disrespectful. Martel talking shit. He up there saying, God don't play. I hate that. I just use that curse word. I didn't mean to do that. God don't play and I don't either. And Chris Fletcher just looked down, then raised his voice and goes, okay, Mayweather. And they laugh and calm down and move on. All right. So then we get Tisha and her daughters, which would have been a cute scene until Marsau showed up. We have Tisha and her daughters. Tisha sits her daughters down and says, look, y'all have some orders to pack. She said her and her girls have been working on this hair care line for kids for about 4 to 5 years. Tisha, your daughters, per your admission, are 11 and 7 years old. Y'all haven't been planning this shit for 4 to 5 years. This has been your idea for them, okay? So I just wish people just would, sorry. I got my hair good today. Just cut the bullshit. Just cut the fucking bullshit. This is your goal for them, and that's fine. Just say that. Damn. Anyway, that daughter, Macy or Mila, I can't remember which one it was, the one that's like 11, asked about when are we gonna get a return of the money, and Tisha was like, it's gonna be a while. I said, baby girl, they told Mel the same thing. You better watch them. Anyway, so the girls have 175 orders, which I think is amazing. Okay. Marsau continues his bitch made behavior. He walks in, comes in being hard on Tisha and the girls about a hairline. Now, I found this interesting for several reasons. Didn't you say that it was weird that Courtney told him to stay out of women's business because he's a man who sells hair products? Like most hair products are not owned by men. Okay, anyway, then you show up to your children who are prepubescent at that and start telling them about how to take care of their hair care line, this, that, and the other. Motherfucker. Marsau, I have yet to see you build anything besides black, a house, or anything, not even your goddamn own house. Cut it the fuck out, okay? Cut it out, all right? So, anyway, so he comes in there with his bullshit. I was like, let their mother do that with it. I can't stand men like that. There's too many of them out in the world now. Anyway, he then is like, what are they doing, Tisha? They're ready to take a break. And she's like, look, it's about balance. They're 11 and 7, Marsau. Cut it out. Okay? And then he tells Tisha, basically that's the reason why I'm over here. It seems like you and I can't remember the girl's name the woman's name that was in there, are doing all the work. They're not going to learn. Seeing that their business is not in their name and probably in Tisha and yours, it doesn't fucking matter, does it? Then y'all should be doing the work. All right, you're an asshole to Tisha and your daughters, Marsau. Fuck you. Okay? So then they start talking about the Black Expo. I'm sorry. I know it's a dialect. Whatever. Maybe y'all can call it something else next time. All right, anyway, because we know Black Expos are all over the place. All right, anyway, so Tisha says she felt that a lot of the feedback was negative, and it was, because it was a bad event. And Marsau said, I didn't see it as negative. And that's the bullshit I'm talking about. Marsau manages to not pretend, but he just lies so much. Yeah, you did think it was negative. because you wasn't willing to take any of that advice. Get the fuck out of here. And side note, is it just me? I realized for the first time in this episode, some of y'all may have already realized it, but I noticed Marsau has smoker lips. Like, they're that dark purple. I hadn't noticed that before. Anyway, maybe it's too many cigars. I don't know. So she asked him about how he felt about the conversation between her and Stormi. She should have said the fight between you and Stormi. All right, so he starts bitching about how she came up and didn't hug him. Pause. I definitely remember you reaching out your arm and embraced her. She gave you a hug. Courtney curved the fuck out of you, and I don't blame. He walked over there to dish. Anyway, so first of all, you remember shit wrong, and that just lets us know about all the lies you about to tell in this episode. This episode was better than most, but it's just the lies. I can't take it. And Marsau got a lot of camera time in this episode, too damn much if you ask me. So I was like, no, Courtney didn't dap you up, and you scared of Courtney. So you take it out on a woman. That's a bitch move. So apparently her and Stormi, Tisha and Stormi, had to sit down, and Stormi apologized for calling Marsau a bitch because Tisha told her she thought it was disrespectful. Here is the thing. Tisha keeps having trouble with a lot of women in this group, from Stormi to Nell to Mel. Okay? Because of your husband. That's a fucking problem. Okay? So Marsau sitting in Tisha's face lying and say, oh, I didn't make any comments about what women could and could not do in business. I was like, sir, you have said that on so many occasions. Fuck the dinner with the Fletchers. You've said that plenty of times. He goes, no, I just make comments about women in relationships and in society. I've never said anything about business. Well, you know what business is in society, and guess the fuck you have, you lying bastard. All right. So then he continues telling Tisha he didn't think, he's not going to apologize to Stormi because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. This is what I'm talking about. And Tisha goes, even if it causes tension between me and Stormi, you won't apologize? And he said, honestly, that's not a relationship I value. Yeah, we noticed you don't seem to value your marriage either, you sorry bastard. And she was like, well, I like Stormi. He was like, you can like her. First of all, I'm going to tell you right now, Tisha, you can't if you stay married to him. Marsau, you are a perpetual repeat offender. Okay? From Mel to Stormi to Tisha. Like, don't play us like this isn't the 6th season of this show. And we've seen your fuck shit play out too many times. Anyway, so Kimmi is meeting with her friend Andrea. Kimmi, I'm rooting for you. And typically I like you. I appreciate you sharing your breast cancer journey with us. I know it can be difficult. And that's why I think this bothers me. It would bother me regardless, but it really bothers me with Kimmi. So Andrea comes over there catching up, whatever. I think we've seen her before, like back when Kimmi was cutting her hair. So she said she's been getting back on track, except her sex life. So Kimmi she was telling Andrea the story about Maurice telling her, her sex drive is just in her head. And her friend was like, well, it kind of is for us, more mental. And I was thinking to myself, no, I thought the same thing when I heard that come out of Maurice's mouth until he kept talking. And he was like, I think that's just you in your head, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. Like, I thought he was making a point about, well, maybe you're just feeling a certain way and, this will pass. And he was not going there. Okay. And then Kimmi tells her, because it is more mental for women. Women need to be attracted to you. Women oftentimes need foreplay, so on and so forth. But he essentially has this attitude like she just changed her mind. She could have sex. He discounted all the medical reasoning that she went down. Okay, mind you, she's a nurse. All right, on top of the fact that she knows better what's happening in her body than he does. Her friend then brings out these Kegel balls that are rechargeable and some other sex toys. And I was just like, okay. So Kimmi feels bad that Maurice already, before her cancer, felt like he wasn't getting enough sex. And I just felt like Maurice was complaining to complain. Um, this is why I also don't believe in dating nor marrying any man younger than you. I don't. I don't. I think men lack maturity. I think they have to be older. Not. I mean, I don't mean significantly older, but or they need to be around your age. Okay. But even if they weren't, Maurice would still be an asshole. Anyway, and my thing is, your vows are for better or for worse. You low life motherfucker. You should be grateful. You should be happy. You should be joyous that your wife is still alive. Period. How dare you act like that? And she's beautiful. And typically a lot of pretty women don't feel like they're pretty. Like, I remember Kimmi saying, Maurice started out was so much prettier than I thought I was. And I feel like a lot of pretty women feel that way. Yeah, honestly, I do. Kimmi suggested sex therapy, and she was like, I wanted to go, but Maurice doesn't usually change his way of thought, even after stuff like that. First of all, I don't think, and even before the friend said this, I don't think they need couple sex therapy or anything like that. That's bullshit. You're married to an asshole, Kimmi. You're married to a man who is not even grateful that you're still alive. He's worried about fucking you. And you're allowing it to be such a problem in your life, and for what? And where is Monster in all this? Y'all made him a storyline for half the season, and now we don't even know what that boy is. Anyway, so Kimmi, I think you need to focus on therapy of any sort for yourself. Because not only medically has your libido probably dropped, but just like you were talking about how you feel, and after losing your hair, you go through a lot with cancer. Period. And I just feel there's a lot of trauma to your body. And for your husband to be making it about this, and he's well into his 40s, is just like, Kimmi, I don't think this is good long term. Because God forbid you get sick again. Is he going to take care of you? Or is he going to make you feel bad for being sick? Andrea, you and Kimmi are coming off like people who make excuses for men. And like Kimmi can be reasonable, but I'm starting to see more and more that Kimmi just trying too hard to please somebody who's not worth pleasing. So Marsau and Tisha, like I said, we get too much Marsau in this episode. So they're at Black doing a promo for Bet on Black. First of all, I wish they would have edited that scene more and cut it down because we did not need that. The Bet on Black is the casino night they're throwing, whatever. And Marsau starts telling Tisha how to pose and sit up. And he tells her not to lean like a housewife, lean like a single woman. And I'm just like, here you go again. Trying to control people's bodily movements, their behavior, how they feel, especially women. You got a fucking problem. That whole Scott family got a fucking problem. Anyway, you're controlling behaviors on my damn nerves, if you haven't noticed, okay? So he said he wanted to be like a black tie event. And he goes like ballet, champagne, who's who of Huntsville. Was I the only one who was like, houseway? How? How is it gonna be that way? Would anybody in Huntsville ever need valet for any reason? Like, why would somebody in Huntsville, Alabama need valet? Right, let that sit. Let that sit. Okay? The who's who of Huntsville, first of all, there can't be such a thing. There can't be. There can't be more than one person. And that's Mel. The town that's like 6 feet long, like, y'all, first of all, know every damn body in that fucking town. So get out of here. Like, just stop. Stop with this foolishness, okay? Stop trying to throw it on us and think we stupid. So they kept doing takes. Marsau fucked up his stuff, but he kept telling Tisha what to do. Marsau, I do not like you. All right, for people trying to raise scholarship money, Marsau, I'm going to need you to be able to read cue cards about the scholarship, okay? Because that's what scholarship is. Damn. For people trying to, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Next. I'm done with them. All right. So Marsau and Martel meet up. Now, see, this is why I'm actually glad they had this conversation, because Marsau and Martel deserve each other and their bullshit. They do. They do. We got two crazy motherfuckers talking to each other, making no sense. All right. So Marsau goes by Martel's house. to make sure he understands what happened between him and Chris Fletcher, because he keeps saying that Fletcher's misconstrued. Their story has not changed, and we watched the dinner. You said that stuff. So this is the showdown between arrogant assholes. So Martel got straight to it and says, look, what bothered me was that if Mel wanted to speak, she could have spoke at the Black Expo. Facts. And then he said, you keep acting like you kept Mel from speaking, which he has been saying. And Martel is like bothered that he's doing this. Now, he may be bothered for several reasons, but one of the reasons I think he's bothered is because to badmouth Mel is to somehow, at least Martel may think this, to hurt her money. And you know, Martel needs her money so he can avoid paying child support. Anyway, maybe get some. Anyway. So, meanwhile, earlier in the episode, he said he's never said that women can't do things in business. And when he wants to tell people that he kept Mel from speaking at that old, tired, disorganized Black Expo. Anyway, so while he's in the midst of addressing that in the house where Chris Fletcher has already said, you got to go, he picks up a call on speaker from Chris Fletcher. Like, Martel, I don't know how y'all's arrogance is set up. First of all, if somebody gave me a notice, okay, and trust me, I got one in graduate school because I was broke, okay? Broke. And I had to pack up my shit. All right, go and stay with a family member for about 4 months. I didn't get him trying to put me out of nowhere. I knew what it was. Anyway, so Chris Fletcher said, he puts him on speaker and said, I'm outside because I'm putting a for sale sign in the yard. And he was like, why you need a sign? I thought it was already sold. Like, he called himself getting Chris Fletcher. He said it is to the owner. He was like, I thought it was already sold. I thought all I had to do was move out. With this smirk on his face. Martel. I cannot believe how stupid you are. And the fact that you thought you just had to move out, and if it's not sold, then I can just stay there, is showing exactly why Mel has thrived even more now that you're not around. You're dead weight, darling. You're good for nothing. Anyway, he asked Fletcher as he was coming into the house, how much time do I have to move? And Fletcher goes, none. Fletcher said that so resolute. I was like, ooh. Anyway, so I think Fletcher is regretting his friendship with Martel. And this is just me just watching him and the lack of facial expressions he shows. And is realizing what an ass he is. Martel, you need him as a friend. And you need that man in your life. And you want to know why? Because you're too far gone from reality. Okay? And you need people around you that'll tell you the truth. Okay? And poor Fletcher is sitting there between two crazy people. One, an emotionally abusive narcissist, and on the other hand, a condescending, sexist, misogynistic, sassy man. Poor Fletcher. I felt bad for him because I couldn't have dealt with it. Marsau started saying how he was talking about how Fletcher misconstrued the conversation at dinner. So Fletcher repeated the same story that Nell has repeated. Neither one of their stories in multiple different circumstances has changed. And so he repeats what happened. And then Marsau goes, yep, that's about what happened. See, because the thing is, you can't fuck with another man the same way. He can't. And that's what makes him bitch made. Anyway, Martel did make the same point regarding Mel over and over again. And it's rare that anything that Martel does, I will compliment. But in this case, he was right. Okay? So Marsau asked him about his failures and successes. Martel couldn't answer. I was like, ugh. Damn, Martel, you just can't get it together. Then Marsau said, I have no problem talking about my failures like bankruptcy. And Martel was like, that's bullshit. He was like, you tried to hide yours. You tried to cover yours up. And you didn't start talking about your bankruptcy until I talked about mine. He said, that should be failure enough. I was like, see, Martel, that's what you should have said 30 seconds ago when you was like. Anyway, honestly, this bankruptcy on Marsau's part was brand new to me. From the time he was at that coffee shop with Mel. Now, I had heard rumblings or whatever. So I do believe he was trying to cover it up because he was embarrassed. And granted, life happens to all of us. But Martel is right. Anyway, then Marsau says, no, that's not how it went. Oh, yeah. Also, I wanted to say, Marsau has a case against him for fraud for $5 million, which now doesn't surprise me because as I watch his behavior throughout this whole episode and considering all the seasons, the way he has these dumbass lies and thinks people will just believe it, I know he can manipulate some numbers on paper and think nobody's going to notice. The fuck out of here. Anyway, so then Marsau says, that's why I didn't let you get on that stage and speak and pay you. If we're being fair, Martel didn't complain about y'all not paying him. Martel has actually been consistent. He called y'all out for not wanting to pay Mel because of what Mel brings to the table. He didn't keep bringing himself up, and he was on that damn stage. You didn't pay him, and you didn't pay nobody else. Cut it out. Cut it out. All right. Anyway, but when Martel was in that confessional, after Marsau started saying that he only wanted people on the stage that had businesses before this show and the platform, because I don't want people who don't have businesses to not know. Well, part of business is advertisement. And this show was advertisement. And your business only got big because of this show. It got big in Huntsville, so miss me. All right? Nevertheless, when Martel was in that confession, he said, if it wasn't for me, you'd still be in that movie theater managing that. I said, oops. Now, granted, we all start somewhere, but it was a read because of the way Marsau was going in so hard. I was like, ooh, okay. Anyway, then Marsau says, I've never heard you talk about your failures. Martel was like, do you think Mel would not have gotten up there? Once again, he made it about Mel. He did not make it about himself. And for whatever reason, because we know Martel don't do nothing, with a good heart. But nevertheless, he was consistent with his point. He was not talking. He would say we from when they were married, but he kept driving home the point that, it was Mel's idea for y'all to get sponsorship. So when y'all got y'all had dismissed all of that. Like she didn't bring these things to the forefront. She did help y'all. And we helped y'all when we could. Then Marsau starts talking about how much he gave Martel, what he's done for him, this and the other. And Martel was like, no, we did a lot for y'all. Now, this ain't the first time we heard Martel and Mel at the time say this. Because they said this like first, second season, okay? Then Marsau was like, well, why are you talking about what you did for friends? Then that's not right. Once you start tallying stuff up, this, that, and the other. No, that's not right. I agree. However, Marsau, when we start talking about tallies, you expected your friends to speak for free. So, while you were collecting just random back money, I can't. Okay? I also think, Martel, it's a learning experience for you. Now you know what it's like for Mel to talk to you. It gets nowhere. Because when somebody is a lying piece of shit who doesn't want to see any truth in what you have to say, it becomes impossible to talk to them. Okay? So now I think you all deserve each other. All right? And honestly, the way they were going back and forth about what I did for you, what I did, let me tell you something. That's why I don't have a lot of friends. I've always had a very small circle. I was kind of a loner even as a kid, even with a big family. Like I had my family, but like in terms of school. But I had very bad experiences with friends. I would have friends, And I'm the kind of person, I'll do whatever I can for somebody I care about and who I think I'm close to. But too many times have people betrayed me. Too many times, and I don't want to get into too many details, but like, I've done for people, and I was always taught when you do something nice for somebody, you don't go around bragging about it. That's not godlike. God will bless you if you've done it. You don't ever brag about having done or helped something for somebody. And I still believe that. But I would get friends that started competing with me in a competition I didn't even know we were in. Because we weren't, as far as I was concerned, but they were. I would have friends who would start trying to be me, from the way I talk to the way I act. And I'm like, what the fuck is the point of having a friend who... I've just had really bad experiences with things like that. And that's why I don't confide in anybody and really trust them. I go to therapy. But I can't. Because when it goes bad, it goes very bad. And it's not cool. And people will throw it against you. And Marsau was talking about, oh, well, how would you throwing this back in my face, is that and the other. But you were doing the same thing to Martel. You see what I'm saying? So it's just fuck shit. So Chris is in his suit with his name tag because he has a serious job. Okay. Meanwhile, he has to break up a childlike fight between two grown men. Anyway, they start laughing at the end. I don't know how y'all are built. When I say fuck you after you've done something and said something like that to hurt me, I'm done. But I guess Martel can't kick Marsau out of a house he's squatting in. Next, Mel and Kiki talk. So Mel shows up to this little place. She gonna catch up with Kiki, and she was serving fashions as always. So she's catching up with Kiki, and Mel brought up the baby reveal and how Kiki didn't show up. I said, Mel's so fucking messy. And she was like, well, I wonder if you just didn't come because, you and Tiffany ain't had the best relationship. And Kiki was like, I would never back down from a situation like that. I wanted to come, but I've been sick. And they have to run some more tests, okay? So she told her about, this is why I know Mel's messy. Mel brings up the Expo Town Hall to Kiki, okay? And she started talking about the tension. And even though they were trying to do Mel dirty, but that's when Mel got up and threw that plate away and was like, bye. Mel was like, the thickest tension was between Stormi and Marsau. And Kiki was like, well, yeah, I think it's about that $100. And Mel was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And, the tension, that's exactly where it came from. And Mel was like, but the way I think, I was like, why are two multimillionaires fighting over $100? Okay. But to Kiki's point, it was the way he came up. Stormi never had an issue with the $100, but Mel went there. $100 to Stormi and Courtney is nothing. I don't know that I believe Marsau and Tisha are multimillionaires. Because multimillionaires would know how to build a house and get it done and have a plan. Because multimillionaires get there with plans. Yeah. I don't know that I believe that. Like when she said, I was like, two multimillionaires. You must be talking about Courtney and Stormi, but they wasn't fighting. Anyway, so Mel's messy ass asked Kiki, has she gotten in touch with Tisha or talked to her about any of it? And essentially Kiki said no, but Kiki did tell her that she's been hearing some stuff about Marsau cheating and tells the story. See, this is, woo, child. People should not have their family beef on TV like this. Anyway, apparently he was at a club, Marsau, and he cheated on Tisha. Not with one chick, but two at the same time, and they had a threesome. I said, child, this is messy. And then we got to be continued. So that's all I know. Anyway, y'all be sure to like and subscribe and put down what you think in the comments. Just be sure to be respectful of each other. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.